So describe those first few minutes, that first attack. Where were you on the ship when these missiles started flying?
Well, I was on the main deck. We just got through the general quarters drill. The sound power phones weren't working on the forward gun mount. So I went and got David Skolak, he was an ice seaman, to come up there to fix it. And bombs were going off on the Sinai. You could see it, black smoke. And we thought, man, this is not a good place to be. And
so Israel was attacking targets against Egypt in the Sinai Peninsula.
Yes.
So you were seeing that off in the distance there.
Yes, absolutely. We were 12.5 miles off the coast of the Sinai. We were always in international waters at all times. We never veered from that. And we were doing exactly what we were supposed to do. Getting signals out of the sky or whatever we could do. That was our job. Everybody does it. The Russians does it. Everybody does it. So they didn't care what we were picking up. Their only mission was to sink that ship and sink it fast.
So you had just finished general quarters. You're on the main deck. Were these the same pilots that were flying earlier waving to you that came back to strafe you?
No. The planes that went over taking pictures was like a flying boxcar, smaller planes, propeller planes, DC-3. But the attacking aircraft were all jet aircraft, and they were blackened out. We didn't know who was attacking us. They were all black. We had no idea.
So you thought maybe these could be Egyptian planes at the time?
Yes, that was what we thought, when the attack first started, because it wouldn't be our friends Israel doing it. It had to be a government that didn't like us.
But you didn't know at the time that Egypt's air force was basically wiped out.
No.
So then the attack happens. Describe those first few minutes. You said it lasted about over 20 minutes. What was the initial thought that, oh my gosh, they're friendly, we got to stop this? Or what did you think initially? Or not friendly, these are Egyptians hitting us. What was that first moment like?
Well, after the air attack, they dropped napalm on our ship too. There was over 821 rocket and cannon holes in it.
Wow.
Over 5,000 armor-piercing bullets in it. And then the planes left. We thought, well, it's over, thank God. But it wasn't over. The Israelis were sending their torpedo boats. They had 3 of them. That's when we saw the Star of David, and we thought, oh, man, this is great. They're coming in to help us. Because certainly we didn't think that Israel would be doing it. And they came there to sink us. And then we got the message out that, there were Israeli torpedo boats.
When you saw the Star of David, and I think there were people in the water at that point, weren't there? People who jumped overboard?
No.
Not yet?
No.
Okay.
That's kind of, nobody did jump over. That's been disputed.
Okay.
Everybody stayed aboard the ship. The torpedo boats, and there were 3 of them, were on our starboard side, probably 1,000 yards off, and they fired 5 torpedoes at us. 2 went aft. I saw 2 go aft, and I know where 1 hit, but the other 2, I don't know where they went. But by the grace of God, He kept us afloat. His all glory goes to God.
Yeah, it's remarkable that this ship stayed afloat. It was never able to be really seaworthy again in the military. It was sold off as scrap eventually, but it did stay afloat. I understand there was an effort to maybe get out a larger American flag at one point.
Right. They shot 2 of our flags down, 2 5x8s. The only flag we had left was a holiday colors, which is 7 feet by 13 feet.
So a massive American flag. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, they shot 2 of them down. Maybe they really don't know that we're Americans. Let's get the larger flag out and place that on the main deck, right?
Yes, it was on the mast.
On the mast?
On the mast. It was on the mast. I mean, there was 12 knots or more going across the deck.
Of wind?
Of wind. The flag was, anybody could see it. They could see the 5x8s too.
Yeah.
And interestingly, one of the officers in the war room of the Israelis said that he notified the torpedo boats that we were American. Well, they could see that, but he says that message never got to the torpedo boats to stop the attack. They never sent a message to them to stop the attack. There was no way. They sent us there to sink us, and that was their main plan. They softened us up with the jets. Then they bring in the torpedo boats, fire 5 torpedoes out us. One hits the starboard side, where 25 brave souls died, spies, CIA, NSA people.
So they shot. CIA killed their own people, essentially.
Yeah, and national security people too. I mean, when you're national security, you're working for all the 3-letter agencies, right. FBI, CIA, all of them. So, yeah, it instantly blew 25 souls to bits. They were, blown up. 25
Americans just obliterated. Almost 200 injured that day. Over, 34 killed in total?
34 killed, 174 wounded out of a ship of 294. 2/3 of the crew was either dead or wounded.
What happened to you?
I got shrapnel in my arm and a little bit in my leg, but I was walking wounded. I was very fortunate, very lucky.
Can you describe some of those moments when you were helping your other service members, trying to get them to safety? Was it just sort of mad panic, or what was your captain doing at the time?
He was on the bridge, staying there, trying to get the ship maneuvered the best he could to get us out of harm's way. He got the Medal of Honor, by the way, Captain William McGonigal. And on the main deck, I was in damage control. I was assistant on-scene leader there. And we were trying to get people off the deck, and they were shooting at us, and we were trying to get people off the deck. Stretcher bearers, firefighters, they were shooting at us, trying to kill us all. The torpedo gunmen they were probably, at that moment, 50 yards off of us. They'd circle the ship, firing at anything that moved.
So I just want to be clear about this. You have a 7x13 flag flying at that time. The other 2 flags have been shot down, shot off. This torpedo gunner, halfway through this, or maybe close to the 20-minute mark, is circling the ship, sees the American flag, and continues to pick off Americans one by one as they're walking across the deck, trying to help other members of the U.S. Navy, and they're just picking them off one by one. One by one.
That's exactly what they did. And they wouldn't quit. That went on for another hour and a half.
Another hour and a half?
Yes. The initial was 25, 30 minutes. The torpedo boats was another hour and a half. The USS America and USS Saratoga picked up the message. We were under attack.
How far away were they?
About 40 minutes. The Captain Tully of the USS Saratoga sent aircraft immediately to our aid. McNamara got on the phone and he says, "Send those planes back. Do not help Liberty."
U.S. Secretary of Defense under LBJ said, "Turn back. Don't help them."
Yes, absolutely. Do not help Liberty. And probably a few minutes after. This is during the air attack now. And then Tully and Captain Ingen of the America, they relaunched to come help us. And then Johnson got on the phone.
Lyndon Baines Johnson, the president.
He says, you get those GD planes back on where they belong on board your ship. And do not help Liberty. Do not help Liberty. I will not embarrass my ally, Israel. How did he know it was attacking us if we didn't?
Because this all went all the way to the president.
Yes. Lyndon Baines Johnson set us up to be murdered by the Zionist state of Israel. And they almost got by with it.
So for another hour, these torpedo boats are picking you off. Where are you at this time trying to? Were you trying to get the attention of the? Did you think at that moment still that maybe this was a mistake, or
no?
Were you trying to get their attention to stop shooting at all, or were you taking cover, trying to stay away from these torpedoes?
Right. Everybody was, doing their jobs, what they could to get people off deck, fight fires. In fact, they shut all our water hoses up too. We didn't have any firefighting equipment except CO2.
Let's talk about the communications equipment and the jamming that went on that day. So you think, well, it should be easy for you to radio for help, radio these aircraft. We're an ally after all. We should be able to tell them, you guys are making a huge mistake here, turn back within the first 2 seconds of this happening, right? But you couldn't speak to them, and that was on purpose, right?
Right. Well, the airplanes were jamming our signal. We only had one antenna up. The rest of them were shot up. Terry Haldebardi hooked it up. He took it offline before the attack because the tuner wasn't working. He ran a long wire to it, and that's when they got the message out. But no, the airplanes, when they got done with us, and then the torpedo boats come, and then they said that, as I said before, that they didn't get the message. And he smiled. It's on tape. It's on Loss of Liberty. He smiled and he says, that's the only one they didn't get. Yeah, I wonder why they never did send it. They sent it there to sink us and sink us fast.
Talk about some of the documents and proof of these communications that's come out over the years. Because since that day, there's been all sorts of confirmation of exactly what you're saying, both from the Israeli government and from the United States government. They don't want to talk about it.
No.
But the proof is there.
The proof is there. In fact, Admiral Moore, he did the Moore report with Ray Davis, General Ray Davis. He was a Medal of Honor recipient and many other dignitaries. And it was a very, very thorough investigation. And he has... well, he's passed now, but and he was a good friend of mine. But he says, I'll never, ever, ever believe that the Israelis didn't know who that ship was. And he urged Congress over and over again to investigate it. But they never would. They didn't then, and they didn't now.
But in the wake of all of this, the government investigations to try to get to the bottom of this, there was stonewalling, there was prevention happening, suppression happening.
Admiral Isaac Kidd and his underling, JAG officer, Captain Ward Boston, come aboard the ship. Well, before that, the America and the Davis come alongside. They took all the wounded off, which was many, many, many people. And Ward Boston, later in life, he has a declaration, and we've got it on our website, usslibertyveterans.org, usslibertyveterans.org. I might say, by the way, too, a little off topic, but if anybody wants to donate or buy hats or shirts or challenge coins or anything like that, please do it. That's the only way we can keep on going. We've been doing this for a long time.
USS libertyveterans.org. We'll put that up on the screen here. And because you still have members of Congress and President Biden and others who are refusing to acknowledge the story and to help you guys.
Absolutely. They all do. I mean, President Trump, when he was elected in 2016, I sent letters there. I don't know if he ever got them or somebody threw them in the trash can. Who knows? But, I call out President Trump to investigate this. You said transparency, and in your office, when you get elected, you're going to be transparent. Be transparent about the USS Liberty. Let's get this over with.
What do you want to have happen?
I want a full congressional investigation by the United States Congress, and I want them to let the world know, and the American people, they deserve to know the truth instead of the lies they've been hearing for the last 50, 70 years. You know what they do to the crew? They call us Nazis and Jew haters, anti-Semites for telling the truth.
Are you an anti-Semite?
No, I'm not an anti-Semite. In fact, we were all pulling for the Israelis,
right,
to win. And no, we got stabbed in the back by two people, our government and the Zionist state of Israel.
So a full investigation by Congress.
Right.
Do you think that